Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is up, and welcome to another episode of the Voice of the Black and Gold, your go-to podcast for all things LAFC. And boy, do we have a packed show for you today. We have a lot to cover and a lot to talk about. Guys, if you're in here, make sure you give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe and notification button so you never miss any LAFC content. And guys, big game yesterday. Not only did we have a big one Wednesday, but we had a big one yesterday, Sunday. We had Carlos Vela night at BMO Stadium. We had another hat trick from the boys. That's now 3 hat tricks in a row, something that's never been done by an MLS team. We have a player that has now 20-20-20, something we're going to cover. And then we got a sunny BMO goal. So we have a lot to cover. I'm excited to get into this. The vibe and the feeling was electric at the BMO Stadium. The 32-52 was loud. And so let's just jump right into it. Andrew, Will, what's going on, fellas? Andrew, I know you were at the game, so I'm going to start with you. Just talk about the electrical feeling in the stadium being Carlos Vela night.
Yeah, Carlos Vela night was as much fun as they had advertised for it. You know, they had a little video kind of giving the history about what he was to the team, and then he was the honorary Falconer for the night. So that was a cool thing to see. Throughout the night, they were just putting the camera on him, just getting random reactions from him on things, and everyone was just eating it up. It was a great night all around for that. It felt good to have some closure too. That was the one thing that was really missing from all the Vela stuff, and to have a night like that, they could do that once a year and make however much they did last night.
And Will, it's very true. Us as LAFC fans, we've asked for closure. You, as just an MLS account, also said, hey, where is the closure on the guy that y'all say is your legend? But not only that, Will, we've seen him get surpassed with another 2020 season from Denis, but we're going to talk about. But the vibe in the building was back to 2019. 32-52 was super loud. They were chanting the whole entire time, and you could even feel it through the TV.
Yeah, it looked like it was a pretty exciting crowd, back to somewhat normal, what we were used to seeing LAFC back in their early days. And as far as Carlos Vela, it's still not not the perfect situation to send him off on his way. Like you would thought it would be a game where he actually gets to play his last game. But you know what? It's as good as you can do at this point, right? Bring him in here. They have a big win in front of the home crowd. Honor him. probably going to get his statue at some point, right? I think he's going to be the first player in club history to get a statue. And then you can kind of see that the torch has been passed. I mean, not that we haven't already thought that already, but it has officially been passed. And LAFC's in good hands. They got two great players who are probably going to, take this team to new heights, which if you're an LAFC fan, it's got to get you excited, right? Because we know that there's been a lot of disappointments in finals, but I think those days are behind you guys, and you got two guys at the forefront who are going to make sure that you guys are not disappointed anymore in big games.
Absolutely. And we're going to jump into that. But since we're on the Carlos Vela train, I might as well go on and ask, Andrew, so with Carlos Vela's farewell, how will he be remembered for LAFC history? We've seen the plaque. I agree with Will, and I believe you agree too. Eventually, we will see a statue of some sort or some type of mural or something, giving him his flowers. I think the plaque was a great thing to have in the stands. But for you, how will he be remembered in LAFC history?
I think for the fans, that have either learned about our history recently or were there from the beginning, I think you kind of feel he's the guy that instilled the culture within the team. They had a vision for this team, for what it was going to mean to the city, to the community, what it was going to do on the field. And a lot of teams, not just soccer, when there's expansion teams, they can miss the mark, and they really just knocked it out of the park with this team. And I think Carlos was a huge part of that. Our first captain, the greatest season so far in 2019. So, but like Bwanga took his record this week, the records will be there and they're made to be broken. But he's just going to be a legend in LA, and really bringing together a community that really felt outside of the other teams that were here at the time.
Watching all the videos, Will, of him watching his tribute, and then him even looking over at his kids and his wife, you can even see a little bit of the passion that all the fans have wanted from him. And it was one of those things that he was like, I did this. Like, I was part of this, and I sort of started it. What did you see from some of those that are going around, and what do you think his legacy will be for LAFC and MLS now when we look back in 10 years from now?
Well, I have to say too, the Tifo that the fans showed last night of him was incredible. Like that was insane. That was a very nice with a little bit of the Mexican what's the word I'm looking for? Shout out, I guess, with the red, green, and white. Looked incredible. Absolutely incredible Tifo. Top notch. One of the better ones I've seen. His legacy is going to be remembered very favorably because he's the first player to ever sign with the club. First DP to sign with the club, probably the best season in MLS history, 34 goals, 15 assists, 49 goal contributions. Incredible. We talked about last week, you, Andrew, and I, about how we kind of romanticize some of his tenure here, but I don't really want to focus on that. Let's just talk about only good stuff with him, because you gotta commemorate. You have to appreciate the stars or legends of this league. Look, he did a lot of stuff for this club. He is one person who helped build this team to having legitimacy. Without him, who knows what the history or what this team would look like. That was the first step. Now, obviously, you don't want to you want to sign the best player you possibly can for this club, and that's what they've done with Son. But Carlos Vela checked so many boxes and helped build this team from the day one and got these LA soccer fans interested in LAFC. I don't know if I ever asked Andrew this. I don't know if Andrew watched much MLS before LAFC or how much you watched, but I'm assuming that when LAFC came about, you were all in, and that was like you were just jumping head first into this. And I think a lot of people were like that. A lot of people weren't really connecting with the Galaxy or other MLS teams. This is their first connection to the league, and I just think that he is a very important piece to this club, and he will always be remembered. And there's not a single player more deserving of getting the first statue than him.
So I'm going to speak on that a little bit for myself, on my own point of view, right? Because I was a person that had lived in LA for 20 plus years that watched only soccer or football from other, across the pond, right? I mean, obviously, I've made that very known, which was Serie A. Would watch some Premier League and stuff. But I do remember when they said Carlos Vela was going to be, because I remember first hearing that there was going to be a club downtown, and then hearing that it was going to be Carlos Vela was going to be the first signing. And for me, it was a big deal. And I, even though I wasn't a El Tri fan, or but from watching the U.S. national team and knowing that the rivalry that we had with them, and this guy was sort of havoc against the U.S. national team, I was like, wow, this is a big deal. And especially with the culture in L.A., I just knew that it was going to pop off. And then when they got Diego Rossi, and just to see them two together, just felt like everything came together for me. You know what I mean? But it all started with Carlos Vela. And so it was special. I can't speak for Andrew, but it was very special to know that he was going to be our first.
Yeah, to know the history of Carlos Vela, and to know, how his mentality was, and that, he's a very nonchalant guy. And I remember a lot of people come in and be fans, but he's not a captain. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do this. But he was just someone that had a commanding presence, and you knew when he was on the field. He didn't have to be that vocal cheerleader type of captain. And some of those controversial players or people that, kind of march to the beat of their own drum, like that I always love personally. Like, a lot of times it doesn't always work out in these scenarios. And a lot of times you go, I'm going to take a gamble on this. Like, it could work or it doesn't. It could care or he won't. And he came in and he put as much care and love as into what you've seen within the last 10 years of his career. When he was overseas playing, and that excitement in his eyes, to get someone to care like that he did again. And for our club, it was a beautiful thing to work out. And he'll always have a fan in me for that.
No, I thought it was a beautiful night, and there's so much to cover about it, because again, it was the passing of the torch, gentlemen. It absolutely, no question, was. We seen it in Denis' third goal when he goes over and he gives basically his flowers to Vela, gives him a hug. Vela even goes, "I told you only two. I told you only two." I thought that was a great moment between the two. It just felt very special. And, we're going to get into Bwanga, but before we do, we obviously have to talk a little bit about Son. Son now has 6 goals, 3 assists in 7 matches. And we see one of those 6 goals now at BMO Stadium. I thought it was great. It was electrifying. The way that things happened, not only that, he got an assist there. That's one of the 3 that he got for Bwanga to get his first goal from a small cough. Boom, over to Son. Nice little touch over straight into Bwanga. Boom, we're on the board. It was absolutely beautiful. And so Son is doing everything that he can to elevate this. So my first question to you, Andrew, would be, how significant was Son's first goal at BMO Stadium, and for his connection with the LAFC fans?
I think it was beautiful. It was a great shot. It was at an incredible time in the match. We kind of have that sinking feeling when a goal gets scored on us first. We're not the best reactionary team to when we get scored against first, but going into the half, it was crucial. And like we've preached, and we'll say many times tonight, from the beginning, for anyone that just started watching, they're gonna get better every week. It's gonna look better. We still haven't scratched the surface of this. And again, last night, you just see these glimpses of what, a full off season is going to be like, going into next year. It's going to be incredible. It's amazing to see in person.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same. I mean, we've seen him score on the road, but this is the first one at BMO Stadium. How important is that for us as fans to say, now he's done it at home? This is what we've been waiting for. The new people that are watching, the new Korean fans that are now at BMO Stadium, all got to celebrate, but so did the 3252 that have been supporting this move from day one.
Now, I could be misremembering this, but this is only his second home game, right?
Yes.
I think. Yeah,
Yes.
because they just had a very loaded away schedule.
That's right.
Unfortunately, when Sony got here, because I think the first 3 games he played were away games.
First 4 games were away. Then he had a home game, then another away game, and then another home game.
Yeah, so it's just I mean, we knew it was going to happen. He's only played in 2 games, and I think he's more comfortable now in the system, or at least which we'll get into, I'm sure, about the system they're playing now. But I wasn't concerned he wasn't going to do that, but that obviously is a big deal to, perform in a big way in front of your fans. And I just think that the coolest thing is just watching the duo make art. Like they're just the way that they play with each other, the chemistry they have is just very fun to watch. And, I think they might be the best duo I've seen in Major League Soccer history. And there's a couple reasons for that. But when you watch them play, it's just must watch TV or must watch whatever you want to call it, streaming, whatever, right? I'm happy for the fans. That's what we talked about, why the fans are more engaged again, Nick, is because they have something to look forward to. They don't have to worry about being bored to death or passing out because they're watching Dolo ball. And one thing that I have realized that it's crystal clear to me now is that now Denis Bouanga does disappoint me in big games, but he really has never had true help with LAFC. There's never been a player to match him. Now we see what he can do. When he linked his first good season was 23, Vela was washed. They brought in Giroud last year. He didn't work out, obviously, right? Didn't help him out. Gareth Bale played that 10 games with them. We never got to see that really come to fruition. So he never got a chance to really play with anybody that's even close to his level. And now that now he actually has help. You see the difference he's able to make on this team. It's just beautiful to watch. So it's cool to see. It's the best duo. I think they're probably at this moment the most exciting team to watch in MLS.
All right, so you just took the words right out of my mouth, so I don't need to ask you. So I'll ask Andrew. Do you think Bwanga and Son are the best duo in MLS right now? Andrew.
Yeah, I absolutely do think that they are. I think for all time that there's a couple arguments outside of LAFC, but for the present, it's just electric. There aren't any new combinations or new signings with other teams that just have this instant connection together. San Jose's got great pieces, but and they have some good games, but if they were firing on all cylinders like Bwanga and Sony were, it would be a different story. But just this connection and understanding of what each of them do, I think that puts us over the edge right now.
Yeah, for me, I believe that they are the best dynamic duo out in MLS right now. And I agree with what Will said. I don't believe that Denis has ever really had anyone to really partner with him that understood that they could give each other the look. Again, that first goal from Samalkov to Son, with Son just doing that very little touch to get it into Denis, he knew exactly where it was going to be. He barely moved the ball. He just sort of went in straight into the kick, and it was absolutely beautiful. You don't do that with someone that you don't really understand at that point. They understood where that was going to be, and I was extremely impressed with the last 3 games that they put together. Again, you had a Denis get a hat trick. Then you had Son get a hat trick. Now you had Denis get a hat trick. This next game, I'm expecting a Son hat trick. This is just the way that it's going to go. We're going to go tick for tack on hat tricks, and we're just going to keep running them up, fellas. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you don't have 3 hat tricks, never been done in MLS, just all of a sudden happen. It is because of this duo that we have. I mean, we have now an unselfish icon come over and made someone who everyone assumed that Denis couldn't pass and wouldn't pass. He just didn't have the people to pass it to because, look, he's being covered. When he isn't covered, he has a lot on his shoulders. He has to take the shot. Now, he don't have to. He has someone else that can take that shot for him if he's too covered up. Yet now we're seeing him pass the ball when in being unselfish. This is everything that you've asked for from this team, and they're getting in the role at the right time. They have the momentum at the right time. 5 games left heading into the playoffs. You couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, so they have 12 goals between the pair in the last 3 games, which is incredible. 7 for Denny and then 5 for Sony. So they're just playing lights out. And, when you talk about duos of why they are the best duo in MLS, I said this last night, Nick, when we went live, but when you have a player and Sony, who would probably be the best player on any other team, check mark. That's, how good he is, right? And then when your second guy, Denny, would be the best player on 26 of MLS teams. So you have 2 guys who would be the best player on damn near every single MLS team. You got 2 of them. I mean, what are we even talking about here? And then 12 goals in 3 games is incredible. I mean, Sony might actually score 10, 11 goals, and he's not even been here but like 1/3 of the season, which is incredible. Hell, Denny might score 30 this year at this rate. He might score 30 goals. I mean, him and Messi are going to be battling it out for the Golden Boot. Who would have thought that, right? Absolutely incredible what they're able to do. And by the way, me, you, and Andrew and Tony talked about this. Now, after I've seen what I've seen, Denny is no longer for sale. They got to keep him. They got to keep him. You got to keep the tandem. You got to keep
I don't
the
even
tandem
think
together.
he wants to leave now. If you watch his press conference yesterday after the game, Will, I don't think he's ready to leave. He literally said how happy his family is here. And I believe it's all with what is happening. They literally made a comment to him, and he was like, no, I'm really happy. Like, what? My family loves it here in Los Angeles. I'm good. And I thought that was reassuring. But Andrew, I heard when he was saying all that great stuff about Denis, you get a little smile. I get the chicken skin. It makes me excited because it feels like it's back into 2019 when we had a team that could put this together. You, me, and Tony have said, hey, we need games of 4 and more goals. Yes, we haven't got more than the 4, but having back-to-back 4 games to 1 and or 4-2, 4-1, 4-1, I will take all day long. How are you feeling about this, man? I mean, this is exciting times for LAFC.
For the last couple of years, we really haven't had anything to build on. We're a very competitive roster year after year, but there's hasn't really been continuity. There's been big swings. It's not for lack of trying, but with Sonny's age, with Bwanga's age, it just feels like that this is something that can be sustained for a few years like this, and it's super exciting to think about the future of them together. That at this point in Bwanga's career and where Sonny's at, like keeping them happy and together, I think the goal is just to prove in and year out that as long as they're up front, you can do whatever you need to do on defense or sign whoever you need to, because as long as that tandem's there, we're good for the foreseeable future.
So we're now going to move into the Bwanga talk because we got to, right? Like the torch was passed. He is our biggest scorer in LAFC history. He's now the only person in MLS history to ever have 20 games or years. Excuse me. How big is that for Bwanga, being the first ever player to have 20 in a season? Will, like, how big of a deal is this for MLS and for Bwanga as a player?
It's a really big deal, to be the first player to do that. I mean, there is some nuance to it, because they say that if a player, I've heard some people say that if a player is good enough to score 20 goals 2 seasons in a row, they're normally going to be sold out of MLS, like they're a really good player. But I still think it's impressive. And also another one that people say is, hey, don't worry, Messi will tie him next year, because Messi's got back-to-back seasons of 20 goals. But look, it's incredible, especially like I said, when you consider he didn't really have any players up to his level to help him out the first 2 years in 2023 and 2024. And we know how inept LAFC were last year at scoring goals, when, because we saw Giroud couldn't do it. Like, that was one of the biggest flaws of the team. So I think with that in consideration, it's very impressive. He's the first player to ever do it, and I expect him to score 20 again next year. I expect him and Sonny to score 20 goals next year. So even if Messi does become another player who scores 23 years in a row, then he's going to be 4 in a row, right? Yeah. So we'll just see who can last longer, I guess. But no, it's impressive. I mean, 60 goals in 3 seasons is good. I think Denis Bouanga is going to be the clear all-time goal scorer in LAFC history, and I think it's going to be a very long time before we see someone break that record. Like, who knows how many? He's almost at 100. Who knows how many he's going to end up finishing with when it's all said and done?
I really agree with that also, Andrew. But as a LAFC fan, how big of a deal is this? Now we're in the history books for the team that had the person that did 2020, but also how big is it for Denis Bouanga?
I think it's huge for Denny. I think it's validating for his career and the decision to come to MLS. And I think it's a testament to him. The last few years, he's literally had to play hero ball, and he's come through with it to the point where if he would go a couple games without scoring or he'd shank a ball, half of our fan base would be upset because he's the one guy that knew how to score. I think we're very lucky as fans to have him. I think Will had touched on it, outside of maybe like two teams, he'd be the best player on any other team. And I know any other fan base would welcome him too. He's just dominant on that side to the point where he gets quadruple teamed even. And still, even with Sonny on our team, he's still getting double and triple teamed. It's a testament to who he is. He's electric. Like we're lucky to have him. And I think we're just so used to seeing him score that it just kind of, not that it diminishes it for us, but I think we forget how lucky we are and how great it is, or how great his performances are, to be honest. I am just over the top with him this season, if you guys couldn't tell.
No, I am too. I second that. Will, I know you're about to have to get out of here, so I want to hit you with this one last one before you do. Denis just you mentioned Messi a second ago, sitting with 22 goals. Denis now tied that in the running, comes from third place, now tied for first with 22 goals, 5 games left, and I believe Messi has 7. What is the realistic chance that now Denis ends up winning this golden boot race that he's in against Messi?
Well, I have to be honest with you. If Messi had played, almost as many games as Denis, Messi probably would have ran away, because he has only, I got to be fair. He's only played 22 games. He's got 22 goals. I think Denis has played in 28 games this year and has the 22 goals. But I do think with the way Denis and Sonny are playing together, that I would probably bet that he's going to win the golden boot, just because he has a player that's way better that he can play off of, where Messi's kind of a one-man show in Miami right now. There's not really any good players that are even matching what he can do. They're in trouble as far as that goes. It's pretty much him or nothing. So I think that is what's going to set him above Messi for the golden boot. And I'll even go one step further. If LAFC can find a way to win out the remaining 5 matches and somehow get close to first place in the Western Conference, which is going to be tough because Vancouver have the same amount of games in hand, but they're like 5 or 6 points ahead of LAFC. So they'd have to have some type of collapse as well, or they'd have to be lucky. But if LAFC can win the remaining 5 games of their season and Denis Bouanga wins the golden boot, I think you have to put him seriously in the MVP consideration. And damn, he might be the favorite.
Woo! And I'm going to have one little rebuttal on what you just said before I go to Andrew. I would have to say, though, most people would say, and of course, this is coming from an LAFC fan, so this might have blinders on, Will, but Messi does have a lot of the Barca boys. Denis did a lot of this without Son, and so now that he's there, we've been able to catch up. Had he had Son the whole entire season, I almost wonder if this race would even be close for the golden boot, because we see how they are connecting at this point. So it would have been interesting just to see. But to your point, a lot of the Miami guys have fallen off, but I'm just saying he has had his crew that he sort of said, come over, go under my wing, and yet Denis has done a lot of this on his own. So that would just be my rebuttal on that. But I agree with you. I think that will be absolutely amazing for him to be also in the MVP race, because to your point, he might deserve it.
I'll say this too: if they had a coach who played a more favorable system, from the start, and then had Sony the entire season, which we'll see that next year.
Yes.
Who knows, man? Then he might be able to score damn near close to 40 goals. He's got 22, and he scored literally 7 in the last 3 matches. So 3 games, there's 34 in a regular season. Just do the quick math on that. He's not going to keep that type of consistency, but you get what I'm saying. Who knows how many he could score, 30, 35, if he played an entire season with a favorable system. So next year's going to be interesting. I told you this. LAFC are playing with house money. They know Dolo's going to be out next year. He's not going to be back. They're going to have a new coach. So anything they do is just kind of icing on the cake this year. But I do think they seriously could do some damage. And I'm going to be interested to see. The fun part of the season hasn't even started yet, guys. There's still a lot of stuff to come up. I got to head out. But before I go, I appreciate joining both of you guys. It's been very fun. Make sure you like the stream down below if you haven't already. Try to help Nick get to 100 likes. I think he was at like 25 last I checked. Make sure you like the stream down below. They have the best LAFC podcast. It's not even close. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I know Nick's trying to hit like 2K subscribers before the by the time the MLS Cup final is over with. And if you're an LAFC fan, you're hoping that they make it to the MLS Cup final. Help this man out. Subscribe to his channel. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of his live streams or any video that he does.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Will. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Right.
Appreciate you.
Good seeing you.
Have a good night, guys. Good seeing you, Andrew.
Right,
see you guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Will, make sure y'all go and follow and like all his stuff. He does great content for MLS. There's no question about it. Andrew, first of all, I want to go back to something that Will just said. I mean, could you imagine if we did have Son and the whole entire season with Denis and he did score next year, let's just say 40 goals. So he goes 20, 20, 20, 40. Are you kidding me? That would be absolutely incredible. I mean, dude, that is what we're hoping for. But if we get another 20 goal out of him, I'll be happy with that. But I do want you to touch on that a little bit and then talk about the Golden Boot race, man. I mean, again, he was sitting in third place. In 3 games, he is now tied for first place with 22 goals against Messi. 5 games left versus 7 games.
Yeah, well, first, with what Will was saying about, having a full year, I did make it 30 minutes without complaining about Dolo. So he started it. So I will just finish it there. That, if we also had a coach that coached offensively, I think it would be a lot different scenario now. So same with Sonny. I heard both parts of that specifically. So
I love that you stay consistent. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I think with both those, it could be up there. I think it could realistically be 30 with the amount of games that Bwanga plays. The second part for the Golden Boot race, I think Bwanga has an edge on all of this because Sam Sturridge from Nashville too is up there, but they're kind of on the downfall right now, so I'm not concerned about him. But at the end of the day, with Messi, he's not going to be guaranteed to play all 5 of those games. If the supporter shield running, if they run away with it, or if it's out of contention for him, they're going to rest him for the playoffs. So unless I feel there's like a real competition coming into it, I just don't see Messi playing all those games to see it through at this point. But I think it would be an incredible race to watch between them. And if Bwanga wins the Golden Boot, I think it's very much a conversation for the MVP, knowing, the assists he's giving out now as well. And just the whole season, what he's done. So, yeah.
So just to be clear, Miami will now play New York. They'll play Toronto. They'll play Chicago. They'll play New England. They'll play Atlanta. And then they will play Nashville. Okay, so that's the 7 games that they have coming up. Out of those games that I just said to you, what games do you think how many of those do you think that they can win, and how many of those do you actually think he's going to play out of 7? I think maybe like you just said, he gets 5 of those 7. I don't think he plays all 7. And, look, New York is okay. Toronto is not great. Chicago, okay. New England, he can definitely bag some on New England. Atlanta, he has a good chance. And then Nashville, that's going to be their toughest one out of the 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for sure just the way that their schedule's playing out, I think he's probably going to rest one of these first games coming up. Like Toronto, there's no need for him to play against them. Maybe even New York has that argument. New England, is New England in Miami or is it in Massachusetts where they're playing? Do you know?
Let me see. Sorry, I got off of it real quick because I was going to tell you the New England is at Miami at New England.
At New England. So we can see if it's a turf thing that he wouldn't play. I think for sure that Nashville game circled for them because Nashville is up in those standings right now. So I would have to think Toronto or New York out of those, possibly New England. But
I apologize, I misspoke. It is at Miami. I apologize. It is at Miami. So they are at home for that game. Yeah.
Okay. But he'll probably play that.
Yeah, he'll probably play that one. Okay, and so LAFC has St. Louis next. Then we have Atlanta, we have Toronto, we have Austin, and then we have Colorado. Who out of that 5 are you most concerned about us dropping points?
Colorado always plays us really tough and really well. That they're just a team that can randomly show up. Austin doesn't scare me at all. I mean, Toronto is, Atlanta. Guzan always seems to have our number, but I think this is a lot different offense now.
Yeah. So Seattle, St. Louis, we're at Atlanta, and Toronto, we're going to be at home. Austin is at their place. Colorado is at their place. And I agreed with what you said. I feel like when it comes to Colorado and us showing up at their stadium because of the altitude, we always seem to walk away with just 1 point or whatever. However, if we can win this out, it possibly puts us in second place in the West right there, Andrew. And so that's, and so that's a pretty big deal. And I think that's a place that we would want to, really to grab, you know what I mean? We want to be in that second place. I don't think most of us care about being first in the West, but having that second place position puts us in a really good spot, to be honest with you. But as Will said, Vancouver also has 5 games left. And when I look at what Vancouver is doing, they're going to play Portland. They're going to play Seattle. They're going to play San Jose, Orlando, and Dallas. When I look at this, they have a little bit more of a challenging schedule. So we could see them drop points. In my opinion, I could see them drop points to Seattle.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Definitely. I think Portland is well with them. I think San Jose. I think they can be a good team when they show up as well. Plus, Vancouver, they got a ton of injuries. They announced Tristan Blackman's going to be out for a bit. So it's 2 of their starting center backs. And then, they have a lot going against them right now. So I think that's the realistic of them or San Diego dropping points in the season. I definitely see that.
Yeah, so basically, if they do drop
Orlando, them playing Orlando,
it puts us in second position in the Western Conference. And honestly, we will only be 2 points behind San Diego. So that's not bad, to be honest with you, from coming from 5th place, moving up the way that we have. And this all comes back to the man that we brought in. This is the change that he has done for us, being able to open up Denis the way that he has and just their connection. What do you think about the new celebration between Denis and Son, by the way?
I love it. I love everything that they do. I think it's great. And even the last game when they were in Salt Lake, when they did the somersault together, because he didn't he wanted to flip like Bwanga did. Like that's wholesome shit right there. Like,
Bro,
how can you
I
not
was
love
sort of
that?
hoping the somersault was going to be it. I'm not
Me
going to lie to
too.
you.
I know.
Although I did like the little, okay, yeah, we're here. I sort of wanted it to
Yeah.
be the somersault. I thought
was
everything about it was
incredible.
enduring. It made me feel, I'm not trying to be corny, but it made me feel excited on the inside. And I'll explain to you why. Because Denis does the flip. Son was like, well, I can't do the flip, so let me do it. The somersault was absolutely perfect. Straight in between the leg, not over to the side. I said this on Will's show. Straight over. Then he does this with Bwanga backing up and doing the same exact thing, coming up and celebrating his celebration for them both to hit. I just thought it was perfect, bro. Everything about it said we are teammates, and I loved it, and I get the whole high five jump thing. Boom, I'm there with you, Soccer USA. It was something really cool about it. But how great would have it been if Bwanga does his flip, look over at Son, and just go straight into a somersault, and both of them do it with a pump action at the end. Like, honest to God, dude, would that not have been the best celebration in MLS history, dude? Like, it really would be.
I loved it. It was the greatest celebration I think I had seen from us. Like there were maybe some dances when Chicho was here, but outside of that somersault, I was waiting for it. I wasn't mad at the jumping high five, especially when we got to see it twice. It makes it even better. Then you saw it coming. So I enjoyed it. I hope there's more to come from it, and I do hope we get to see another somersault or two mixed into there, because that was great.
For sure. Park says, what's up? Saw you on MLS Moves, another Sunny fan. I like the way you show all the comments. Hey, look, we always will show all of your comments. We appreciate you being here with us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification button so you're here every week with us on Mondays. We're just sitting here talking about the somersault on Wednesday, and now the jump on Sunday. And look, who knows what we'll get next time. Maybe we will get a little bit of a dance action between the two. Did you watch any of the press conferences after the game, Andrew?
No, I have not.
Bro, it was fantastic. It was them two together, and then they had also Marky Delgado up there. And, the questions were really about how they feel about each other, and it was so also very affectionate, very like, yo, he is my player. I am glad to be here. I don't want to be anywhere else. I like the chemistry that we're building. Everything about it just really said, we are a team. And I thought it was really, really good. And look, none of us can like what Dolo does, but it's like Son has sort of forced his hand to say, we're going to push forward more than we are going to push back. And I thought that was freaking fantastic, Andrew. So we haven't talked about the lineup or the formation yet. I don't really care about speaking about the lineup too much, because I just want to talk about the exciting things. But this is one thing I was worried about. The last two games, when we had the hat tricks, we were seeing more of a 4-4-2 or a 5-3-2, however you want to call it. On this yesterday, we see more of back to the 4-3-3, and it scared me for a minute. I didn't like it at first, right? Because as much as Martinez feels as if he's our future player, I feel in a way he is losing ground with what we are doing here, right? And it seems like the 5-3-2, the 5 or the 4-4-2, however we want to call it, is really the way. And while I say that is because it feels like Sonny and Denis have their own space, their own room to be able to operate, right? And so when we have the third up there, it almost feels it almost feels too congested in a way. Is that just my imagination, or do you feel the same?
No, at the beginning of the game, that there was some spacing issues. I feel like we have had in the past. That 5-3-2 or whatever interchangeable that we have been doing the last few games. It's absolutely worked, and watching it at the stadium, you could see who was ever on the wings, whether it was Martinez or Bwanga or so. They were all communicating that one of them was supposed to drop back, and they were all like kind of waiting for who else was going to drop back. And then at a certain point, you just saw Bwanga dropping back and being having more fluidity to the situation. But the thing with Martinez too is though that when Sonny got here, I believe he had some sort of injury, or he was not playing because of his output levels. But he went on international to go play for Venezuela, so he's been kind of integrated back, and I think he still needs more time with them. And I think it's a good time of year to try and see if that timing can work. Obviously, it's not how the game ended in that formation, so it's not too upsetting. I still would prefer to see Martinez out there over some of our midfield choices.
Yeah, no, I'm hating on Martinez a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I love what I've been a fan of Martinez, and I expected him to bring more to us. If I'm just being completely honest, we have seen glimpses of really great soccer from him, but then we see a lot of mediocre also, and for me, that is the only thing that I have a problem with, right? And to be fair, and I'm probably going to get killed for this, I feel like Tillman, when he was up at the front with them guys, sort of doing the back and forth thing, he really played well. He did a great freaking job. And I sort of fell in love with the way that we were playing. We didn't know what formation we were running. We literally were moving from a 5 to the back to the 5 in the middle, 3 in the back to the 2. Like it literally kept the opposing team like, whoa, what are they doing now? Where are they at? How am I like, dude? It's crazy that it was just you know what I mean, like it was so different from what we know LAFC is going to run a 4-3-3, you know what I mean? And so it was like, no, not now they're so it was just beautiful to watch. And so I was worried about going back to the 4-3-3, and Martinez did okay. He definitely had a good little pass to set up Bwanga's second goal, I believe it was. But but I just want more from him. Is it, you know what I'm saying? I just want more.
Yeah, it's fair. I think with Jesus being gone and Segura like being that defensive midfield, I think things are a little patchwork for him. But the positive is that he doesn't have to be that good right now. He can still be a U22. Like, when it clicks, it'll click. I'm not on the Martinez out kind of situation yet. I definitely think it's a good thing. Yep. Let's pause this. Is this proof?
You thought you were Neymar for a second.
True. It's true.
Now people are seeing it though. He says, "Oh, I can see it now. I can see it now." And I gotta be honest with you, Miracle.
Oh,
I
man.
can see it now. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's Andrew, aka Neymar. I'm not gonna lie. I can see it now.
I will certainly never deny anything like that.
Oh my God, that was great.
Incredible.
I had to put that up there.
Yeah, that was beautiful. But anyway, the comment with Morin, Morin's pass when he came in was incredible. That set up that last goal. I wish we could see more of him. I want to see more of Morin, just because he's not going to be here all that long. Like let him contribute. Let him get some experience. It's what he came here for. I know everyone feels that Tillman's been doing better, but I would still put, from what I've seen from Moore, and it's worth giving him a chance over Tillman for a little bit, you know.
But this is this comment says it all. This comment says it all. And this is my problem. He does. He walks more than he runs. And I understand. No, bro, like you sort of have to earn the walk, bro. You have to earn the walk. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
To be a fan of the game and to be a fan of Sony's, and then to see someone like David Martinez jogging through something, I could see why it pisses you off a little bit. I could see where it comes into, but you know, he's got a lot to learn. He's got incredible talent. It's when that maturity catches up to him. When he first got here, he was a tiny little guy. Now he's kind of filled out into his body. He's a bigger dude now. Like he's a man now, but the maturity of his game just needs to come into it. And you know, he will get there. We still haven't seen our Romanian winger, but Baluta or whatever. I did see pictures of him in training this week though, so I know he's in LA. I don't know what the visa paperwork looks like, but he was in the last round of pictures of training.
So do you feel like the passing of the torch for certain players, for example, the Hollies head to Smallscoff, we got to see him start. I know some people were sort of down on him, but he started the first goal for Bwanga. I am a huge fan of Smallscoff. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I like everything about this kid. He is a big body out there. He is fast. He is physical. I like everything that he does. And again, in him being in the 4-3-3 doesn't let him shine. It lets him shine when we are playing the other formation where he can become like that high winger, come up to the middle. Also, him and Palencia playing off of each other, sometimes all the way up top. Like, that is what I like from him. Him being in the back with the back four, it handcuffs him. It doesn't let him eat. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get to eat.
No.
And so I'm like, yo, don't put him in that position. Let this boy eat. He is hungry.
Yeah, that left side gets awfully packed when, you know, he's over there and in Bwanga and Son. I love it though. Yesterday was the perfect scenario for the game where he plays 70 and Hollingshead comes on as a super sub and sprints around and is that energy and has that veteran presence. The last 20 of the game, I love it. I love what Smolikov brings. You got to think that Dolo being his position that he played, he's always held that position a little close to his heart, and to see Smolikov getting more and more, I think it's pretty apparent for us to open up our offense and to score goals. The way it's got to go is going to be with him in that lineup. But I do agree, the more fluid wing back role than the traditional four back. I just wish Dolo would have whatever confidence he's lacking in that midfield to not like just experiment in a couple other ways. Like it's going to be the same tired combo now of Segura's defensive mid, which kind of acts as the third center back, and then Delgado and Tillman eventually. But you know, we'll see. The midfield is always a point of contention for me. It's the deepest position, and he doesn't do much with it.
So we have a couple of questions, and we're going to get to them. We got this one. What do we think about Andy Moran's pass to Denis for the goal? And then we're going to get into this one. Trust me, we have a lot to say about this one, but we're going to hit this first. What did you think about Andy's first, or his pass to Denis for that goal? I actually like this kid a lot, Andrew. I really do like him a lot. And again, he's someone that I feel like the torch is going to be passed. And I think it has to be for Delgado personally. Delgado to me has taken a little bit of a back step. I know he was at the press conference and stuff with the boys and everybody was sort of giving him his flowers. For me, he was one of the weakest links yesterday.
Yeah, he's been a weaker link since around the Club World Cup time. Right? He just kind of fell off a little bit. All of our midfield did. Tillman went through it. Delgado has been awful in some games. Last night, I felt it was a step in the right direction from what it has been. He's made some good passes up in there, but yeah, I just think our guys need a break. I've said it a couple times now, so yeah, I think Delgado. I'm not out on him. I don't think he doesn't have a part in this team. I love that he's on this team. Just give the guy a rest. Like you can tell some people just need a break. It's the end of the season. Okay. I think he's a prime candidate just to rest a game. Like there's no need to run that midfield into the ground when they don't do much in Dolo's system, which perfect segue into
no, I think that's fair. I definitely think that's fair. But what you did you answer about Moran's pass? What you thought about that?
Yeah. I loved it. It was beautiful. I think it's multiple games in a row now. He's come in and he's shown some beautiful creative passes, and I love that. I'd love to see more of it.
Okay, so let's nope, that ain't it. Where was it? Right here. Can we sum up Dolo Ball in a few words? I'm new once again. No, it isn't about you being new at all. We have no problem talking crap about Dolo at all. This guy is on his way out. He was on his way out at the beginning of the season. Dolo Ball is let's park the bus and let's play defense first, and then we will try to counter attack from there. Other than that, we don't want the ball, give the ball away. Anything that we can do just not to have the ball. As of late, that has all changed since we have had the man, the myth, the legend, the icon, Mr. Sonny, come and join LAFC. All that has been thrown out the window. But, we are excited to get a new coach in for LAFC anytime. And as soon as Dolo is out of here. And it seems like the talk of Dolo being out has sort of went away, Andrew, but not for us. We keep it honest. No. We keep it real. No. Even though we're winning 4 games, we're winning, having these great runs and getting back-to-back hat tricks. We still say Dolo out before we get off the show.
We are what we are in spite of Dolo. Like Sonny, you're absolutely right. He's infecting this team with a great personality, and everyone's happy. I think everyone's attacking more than what we ever did before Sonny came in this last year. So, I absolutely love it, and I've said multiple. Like we are winning this in spite of Dolo, in spite of what our coach wants to do with his boring, stubborn tactics that, we haven't seen this many hat tricks in a row because if you knew, we score a goal and we park the bus and there's one person that hangs out up top. And then, he doesn't say much. He's not an active coach. I think if you're at the stadium, you can watch. I didn't think we saw Dolo stand up on the sidelines until the second half to do anything. He just kind of sits there. Like he won us a trophy, and he's our GM's boy. We're cool with it with what he won for us, but it's more than his time to go. We have some big superstars here, and this game is bigger than what he has for this team. So,
dude, I'm sorry, I'm dying right now because it is so true everything you're saying. And look, let us not forget that he also said it's not all about winning, and just getting 1 point against your crosstown rival is okay. So let's not forget that at all. And so once he said that, we were done here at VOBG. We will not ever say one positive thing about him. We represent what this club was built on, and we will never, ever be okay with 1 point against your rival. And we will never say that it's not all about winning, because this game is all about winning. It is about winning. And I am a selfish son of a gun, and I want to win everything.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want to win it all. I don't care. I win against my 7-year-old. Okay? It just is what it is. She's like, Dad, give me a break. I'm like, I will give you a break later on. And I will not give you a break now, because we are winners, and I am building you to be a winner. Okay? And so once he said that, we were done here at VOBG. We will never ever say one positive thing about him. We represent what this club was built on, and we will never say that it's not all about winning, because this game is all about winning. It is about winning. And we will never say that it's not all about winning, because this game is all about winning.
Yeah,
And then my wife was like,
exactly.
Nick, you got to let her win a little bit. So I'll let her have a little bit of a leeway, and then I take back the win, and then I'll cheers it just as good as Denis and Sonny did. Boom, and say, and she'll look at me and be like, Dad. I'll be like, hey, we all have to strive to win. We all have to strive to be the best. Okay, we are not okay with just being mediocre in this family.
Hey, we have the best tandem in MLS. Let him score. Let him put up 8 goals a game. Who cares? Like let that be your legacy when you leave, Dolo. Don't let it be like I had Sonny and Bwanga, and I let him score 1 goal a game, and then I park the bus. Like no,
Yeah.
like open this offense up, open this team up, like let it go.
I cheated in Monopoly with my kids. Bro, I am loving it right now. That's hilarious. Unbelievable. Well, guys,
shout out to Porteous real quick though.
Okay.
Our British or Scottish center back, just unreal. Has just come in and has been an insane addition to us. We knocked it out of the park. You can tell that guy played in the Premier League. You can tell the way he handles himself on that back line. We never needed like Tafari to be a great player. We just needed him to be a role player. And like Tafari is looking better and better next to Porteous there. I love that pairing and back. I wanted to make it a point of bringing that up tonight.
Yes, Porteous, we got to talk about him real quick because I'm glad that you brought that up, Andrew. Thank you so much for doing that because he is another person that I feel has now earned that right. Even if I know he's not, but if Long was to be like, I got to come back in, he has to find a spot to put him. Who is it? Segura, Tafari, whatever comes out. You can't take him out. He demands the back line. He's given directions to people constantly. I love everything about this guy's play. He is a hardworking person. He understands where he needs to be. He's constantly making sure. For example, when we had the 5 in the back that I was talking about, when you had the small scarf and the Palencia up top, he's making sure that they are where the 3 in the back that are staying there. He's making sure that they are where they need to be. And when they aren't, you see him and Hugo letting them know you messed up. This is where you need to be. We have to protect this back line. And I love everything about it. Dude. It really, he has earned that spot on this team, bro. And he is someone that I hope stays for a good while.
Yeah, you can tell that he loves it here, and he just from day one they had said before he was even on the field that he was a leader in training, and you can totally see that. You can see that with all of them, and I agree with Ernest. Our depth has been great in the midfield, and as much as it sucks, our midfield is just going to be. We don't know how good our midfield will be until we have a new coach. It's we got a ton of pieces, but.
This new coach is going to be a big deal for us, and I hope we figure it out soon. I understand that we have Dolo there, and I know that they probably think it would be a little rude, but we really should be finding out who that's going to be. And if it's not going to be anyone in Europe, we need to go get Jim Curtin now before some other MLS team yanks him up, because we know people are scouting him. We know people are out there looking at it, and if you're not going to make that big run for some big name coach over in Europe, and you're going to stay in MLS, go get Jim Curtin, because I believe Sonny and Denis under Jim Curtin would be absolutely fantastic. I truly do. Guys, this has been fun. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Andrew and I we appreciate you guys coming through. If you are new here, please make sure you go give us that subscription, subscribe to us. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, hit that notification button, because we do drop shorts, and throughout the week we drop content as much as we can, and we really would appreciate that. And all of you new people, thank you for coming and joining us, man. We love having you guys here. I forgot Will was on the show. Yeah, he was on here with us, and we appreciate him coming. We appreciate him coming through. But guys, thank y'all so much. LA is still black and gold, no matter what. Dolo out, baby.
Dolo out. We'll see you next week.